the elevators are just, to me, what seems like awkward spots. It's mainly like on the perimeters. Alright, so anyway, yep, there's a ventilator right here. I think we're going to be smart this time, and we'll just say, don't show on heads-up display, and we'll zap it out. Alright, can I fit through here? Yes, I can. Alright, here's an oxygen tank we don't need. Zap. Oh, that's where you hit the furnace. But on the other side of the furnace, there's a ventilator. So I think what we might just do to save a little bit of time here is the ventilators are all in their own group. And what we can do is just turn them all off. And there they go. So they won't take any more power. Ideally, I would just suck all those up, because we could use them someplace else. You know, they've already been built. So it's kind of like, you know, why not keep that? And I don't want to tear apart the exterior here just to get to that one that's right there. It's probably, yeah, here we go. Engineering. And we can just grab it right here. Probably something on the other side. So yeah, no, I'm not talking about the motion sensor. I'm talking about the ventilator. Oh, I put my motion sensor on there, so it'll just hang out there in space because I really don't feel like moving it. I forgot that I would probably be taking out the ventilators. I can let Bloops move it later. Alright, what are we left with? 4 ventilators, but they're all off right now, so that's cool. I don't know what time of day it is right now. What are we getting in here for solar panel, power? Oh, so here we got 150 something. So it must be daylight outside. Average output is 133. And right now, our current output is 2.66 kpu, but our consumption is 344. We got a little bit more work to do before we get to where we need to be. But that... also, we still have some stuff, you know, kind of wait and see what happens with the absence of ventilators. And we have a lot of levers and motion sensors in place now. Bloops said he already set up the repair bay on Signal Logic. So let's see here. The repair bay is on Repair Follow. Okay. And that is normally 25 kpu. Okay, what else is there to take a look at here? We always want to have the wireless connection on. We're not worried about containers. I don't think... oh, beds actually take energy. I did not know that, because I hardly ever place decorations. 1, 2, 3, 4... So that's 6, 8, 10, 12 kpus just for beds and wardrobes. Bloops, did you really want the beds and the wardrobes in here? Or are you cool with taking those out? Because if you're cool with taking it out, that would save you a little bit. And it's just decoration stuff. I guess I can kind of leave that to you. So we got all those doors. We got the fridges, the fuel tanks. I think the fuel tanks actually take some energy too. I need to go to my capital vessel and see how many tier 3 fuel tanks I can make, because having 37 fuel tanks in here, while that's nice, it's still taking up 1 PU for every fuel tank in here. So that's 37 PU power. And most of these lights here on motion sensors. There's no more O2 tanks. We can take those out. Beds in their directions go a long way to making the base not look bare. Okay, I didn't know what your thoughts were. If it was me, I'd just take them out, but I understand you want to keep them in. So, Tanya, they added in CPU. So you'll notice here, you know, this 2,950 out of 7,500. But right now, it doesn't mean anything. And that's with ships and whatever else. Right now, it's just a number. It doesn't actually have any impact on gameplay. Now, I believe at some point it will matter, but I think what they're trying to go for is PvP balance. You know, if someone makes a ship and goes up against somebody else with a ship, if you overdo your CPU and you go over the number, then it's possible you might lose the ability to power some components. But as of right now, it doesn't do anything. It's just the number that's there. There's no impact on your gameplay whatsoever. The other thing that they're trying to do right now, if you've been keeping up with or you're reading through the patch notes, is this whole concept of mass and volume. So if we take a look at like a container, and this is mainly where you're going to see it. So if I go in here to this container, down here at the bottom right hand corner, you see volume. This right now reads 20,081 out of 250. They're gunning for, now they did make it with the last patch where you can actually turn this on if you want. But by default, it's not on. And I really don't know anyone who in their right mind would want to turn it on. But to each their own. And that is, the hope is that with mass and volume enabled, yeah, it's completely optional, is that you would start using more of the logistics menu. And by logistics menu, we're talking about F4. So if I hit escape and I hit F4, this is something new that they put in. I can now, as long as I have a wireless signal, and you see down here in the bottom left, I have a wireless signal with 9. So I can actually tap into 9 different things that have wireless boxes or wireless signals coming from. You know, I've got Sanctum 1, SV8 Bruiser, this IGCV and 2EM Boom Boom. This is my hover vessel, my capital vessel. So as long as you're in range of a wireless signal that's coming off of a device. So let's take my capital vessel that's parked outside. I can access any of the chests. And the same thing goes for like the right-hand pane. I can access the same stuff. So the hope is that you will now be able to take advantage of wirelessly transferring your stuff. And the way the developers wrote it was that, you know, you go out, you go gather resources, you come back to your base, you activate the F4 menu for your logistics, and you transfer things from the left side from your hover vessel, your small vessel, into your base. And you yourself as a character do not need to actually physically pick any of this stuff up. Because you see here, I'm not looking at my character's inventory at all. So the idea is that you can move things that are heavy without needing to actually pick them up and carry them. And so the idea is that when you have mass and volume enabled is that you would use this wireless logistics menu to move things from point A to point B. And they, I'm way, well actually this one, 872 out of 1000. I'm not over capacity on this one. But in the left-hand box here, this input box, I'm 26,000 out of 250. So they actually added in some new items. You have, these are just regular cargo containers. They have containers, and it might be easier for me to go over here to my ship and pull it up in the fabricator so you can get a good idea. So let me just run over here to my ship. I want to say, where did I park? I know I parked right next to the base. But yeah, here we go. So if I pull up my fabricators, let me just hit P on my ship here and go into my constructor. And I realize now I could have done that with the base constructor, but it's all good. Yeah, exactly. The container controllers and the extension things. Exactly. So you already have a good grasp on what's happening here. So if I go into like my base icon here and I type in container or just pull up container, you'll notice that there's now 3 things here. So you have a container controller, and it says required for modular containers. When you put this down, this container controller, now mind you, this takes energy. This takes 10 PUs. The traditional cargo containers, this right here, this doesn't take any power at all. So this right now is one of the gripes. I can have a regular cargo container, it can hold whatever it wants, but if I choose to then switch over and enable mass and volume, I now have a cargo box that I am limited in what I can put in there, okay? And I now have to, if I want to have things else expanded, I now have to run a container controller. So this here takes 10 PUs, and if I want to expand the content in it, I now have to use a container extension next to it. So this will allow me to hold more in my box, but we're talking about this box here took 10 PUs, this container extension also took 10 PUs, but I can now hold twice as much inside my cargo box, quote unquote, which is really a container controller. And then there's the ammo one that allows you to hold more ammunition in your cargo box for ammunition. So yes, you can hold more in your box when you're using massive volumes, but now you're dealing with boxes that take additional power. I wish it didn't take the additional power, and a lot of people are not fans of this recent change, because if you take a look at something like a small vessel or a hover vessel, something that you want to have be small and compact, if you want it to actually hold more, you have to inflate your design. Your design now becomes larger because you now have to accommodate for the power usage of the containers, the additional containers, which, let's just say you do a one-to-one swap. You replace all your cargo boxes with a container controller, okay? But now, in order to fit more in your box, you now have to put in the container extensions. So now you have to leave more room in your builds to put in more container extensions to allow you to hold the same things that you would hold in your traditional old school container box, your cargo box. So I don't foresee us as a server changing over to massive volume just because of this. Now, with that said, the developers are still doing tweaks, they're still doing adjustments. This isn't rolled out, it is not final. I think they're still gathering feedback on how people feel, so there could always be changes in the future regarding the system. And I hope that they really take a good listen to what a lot of us are actually saying about this. I don't like the additional power constraints. I don't really mind so much if my build gets a little bit bigger from like my capital vessel or my hover vessel or a small vessel. But someone who tries to be power conscious, you know, as evidenced by the stream so far about trying to, you know, utilize as much solar power as you can, this takes a toll. You know, you only have usually like one generator in a hover vessel or even a small vessel. But now if you want to have something that's a workhorse and is going to be hoarding a lot of your loot before you come back to your main base, you now have to sit here and put in a lot of the container controllers, one container controller, and put in a bunch of container extensions with it too. And all this takes power. It all adds up. So, you know, I can't get on board with it right now with the power requirements. You know, a cargo box takes nothing, but a container controller, how are you going to charge me 10 PUs of electricity just for the same thing? But a container extension, it's just like a double whammy. You're going to charge me 10 PUs, and then for everything that I want to add on to here, it's going to cost me an additional 10 PUs? I just can't. I can't. Yeah, and, you know, another one of my gripes is solar panels. I love free power. Absolutely. And I really don't understand, you know, even in real life when we take a look, you know, this is a future game. This is a space simulator, kind of sort of, like space survival game. I don't understand how my base can have solar panels, but my big freaking capital vessel here, it can't have solar panels on it. My small vessel can't have solar panel, and my hover vessel can't have solar panel. So it's just like, what are you doing? You know, the technology exists. Why can't I implement it on my other vehicles? Because to me, you know, being able to save on fuel is a big thing. I don't mind adding extra stuff to allow my vehicles to have that. And a capital vessel is massive. You know, sometimes your capital vessels are larger than your bases. Case in point, you know, if I were to get in my capital vessel, and, you know, let's just do this for comparison's sake, because I think it's going to be funny. Yeah. And, hi very much, Zazion13. Welcome to my stream. Wasn't ignoring it just in the middle of an explanation. Hope you're doing very well this Friday night. We're just kind of going over signal logic and optimizing Bloops' base. It is a prefab from the Steam Workshop. It's made by Jay Randall. So that base was made by another player. Empyrion Galactic Survival allows players who create something to upload their blueprint to the Steam Workshop, and they can share it with anybody who plays Empyrion. So if you like anything that someone does, you can just, or even if you're new to the game, you're not quite sure how to build, you can take advantage of other things that people have built for you. So for instance, I could come in here to my blueprints menu, and if we were to take a look here under bases, they actually give you some prefabs as part of the package. And so like BA base prefab tier 1, you can put this on your planet wherever you're at. You just feed in these resources, and the factory, which is right here, the factory will make it for you, and then you just place it on the ground. And this only requires a character to be level 3. As you go down the tiers, like tier 1A, this is also a level 3. Then we get into level 5, and you're not limited to what you just see here in the menu. You can pull up a Steam Workshop for Empyrion. You can just Google Empyrion Galactic Survival Steam Workshop, and you'll go right there. For instance, one of the things that I built on here, or not, actually, I have a design that's on the workshop. It's actually pretty funny. If we look here at Boom Boom Prototype, Boom Boom is one of my prize hover vessels. Boom Boom is actually chilling down here in my hangar. And the game right now is not liking the fact that I'm low on food, but that's okay. We'll just top off here real quick. So I actually had someone on my Twitch stream say, "Hey, I really like Boom Boom. Can you share it?" And Boom Boom is right over here. This is what I call Boom Boom. Boom Boom is an attack artillery hover vessel. And if we just let me just kind of put him in the center of the hangar here so I can show him off a little bit better. So this is Boom Boom. Boom Boom has, or he did have, more turrets on him than before. They changed in the latest patch where you have to have your cockpit uncovered to get in and out. So we'll just jump out here real quick. And Boom Boom actually has letter stenciling on the side here. So this is Boom Boom. And you can see Boom Boom has a metric ton of turrets on him. In fact, if we just go over here and we say turret, look at all this. Miniguns, rockets, more miniguns, plasma turrets. And we have multi-turret for salvaging. So this is an attack turret, but it's a tool. So I hop in Boom Boom, and he just goes wreck face. He wrecks face against a lot of enemy POIs, against a bunch of turrets. I've had him take out 3 enemy outposts with all 3 outposts firing rockets at me. And he is a beast. He is awesome. So what someone does if they want to share things on the workshop is you just go up to this design. You can do Alt-O. And that's just Alt plus O. I'll type in the chat for you. Alt plus O. And you can save this blueprint. Now, this is your own personal blueprint. It isn't until you actually come in here and, let me just, oops, wrong button. If I go in here and I say Boom Boom, you'll notice that there's a publish button. Anything that I build or any other player builds in this game, if they want to share it with the community, you can just Alt-O, save your blueprint, and then you can just click this publish button right here, and it'll go right up to the Steam Workshop, and anyone can browse through what's available, and they can choose to subscribe to it. That blueprint gets downloaded to your game, and at that moment in time, you're free to use it. In your game, you can say, "Hey, I want to spawn in this particular thing." Now, what's really cool about this capital vessel that I use right now, this big, huge ship that I'm in, this is not something I designed myself. I did my own hover vessel, I did my own small vessel, but I didn't really want to put together the time to build a capital vessel. And the Cerberus PSV, which if we go here to capital vessel, right here, the Cerberus PSV, this was made by Jay Randall on the workshop. So I subscribed to this because it was a lot of what I was looking for in a capital vessel. It had grow plots, so I could have crops on my ship. It had weapons. It had a bunch of constructors, so I can make things on the go. It had a lot of storage. So I was like, let me just get this guy's design, and I'll use it on this server. So that's what I did. I subscribed to his blueprint on the workshop, and he really is amazing. That dude deserves a lot of props. And then inside the factory here, you just feed in all these ingredients. So you still have to go out, you have to harvest the ingredients You plug it into the factory. It'll be a little drop-down box. You drag the stuff over, and Boom Boom didn't actually take me that long to build. Boom Boom was maybe like an hour, hour and a half or so. But it was mainly the design concept of Boom Boom. And Boom Boom actually has a really funny story behind him because one of the players on here, Admiral Peaches, his capital vessel got oomed by some turrets, some Polaris turrets. And he had made a capital vessel without using any blueprints. He was just winging it. And apparently he had some fuel tanks that were exposed. Not really exposed, but really close to the wall of his capital vessel. So when he took incoming rocket damage, the splash damage hit his fuel tanks, and it created a domino effect of explosions that rocked his ship. So his capital vessel, that was completely and totally awesome, all of a sudden just became a lawn ornament on the surface of the planet. It just got blown up. So we wanted to go back there and salvage and get back what materials we could so he could start recreating and redesigning his capital vessel. But we didn't have anything powerful enough to go survive the onslaught of attacks. And that is why Boom Boom was born. So I went out there with Boom Boom after building this hover vessel, and we were able to knock out all the Polaris turrets and rescue his ship. But I would say if you decide to get into the designing aspect of this game, this is a survival server. It is a lot easier to go into creative mode in this game. So just go in single player, go into freedom mode, and design your builds in creative. Because creative allows you to place a block instantly. You can retrieve a block instantly. You don't have to worry about scavenging around for resources. So you can build a lot faster in creative. And when you get done with creative, you just save the blueprint. You go into your survival game, and your blueprint will be available to you. So you can just farm up the resources, drop them in, and make it. So it's a lot easier to do it that way, and your design time gets cut down just because creative is very powerful with being able to place and remove blocks instantly. You can shift, right click, and remove a block. So if you make a mistake, you don't have to get out of multi-tool. You don't have to, suck that block back up and place it back down again. And a lot of us like to use symmetry mode. I don't know if you know about this, but if you hit N, and this works in creative or survival, so I'll kind of show you right here. If I hit N like Nancy, you'll see that I get this little menu that comes out on the side right here. And when you look here at where it says symmetry plane, I click this, and then, oh, thank you very much for the follow, Zanzian13. I appreciate it. Feel free to come on by. I'll help you out with tips or whatever you got going on. So, symmetry plane here, we can click, and you'll notice immediately that it puts this green barrier up for me. And this is just inside the end menu. The moment I hit escape, what will now happen, because I put this big green wall up, and this is what helps save a lot of time. A lot of these builds are symmetrical. You put your cockpit in the middle, but you'll notice that Boom Boom and a lot of other builds that people do are very symmetrical. And the reason why is because of this awesome tool. Whenever you do your end button and you define a symmetry plane, whatever I do on the left side of this green wall gets replicated over to the other side of it. So you technically only have to build half of your ship. So you do your center line, and then whatever you start building on the left side, it copies over to the right-hand side. And that helps save you so much time. And it carries over to your paint job that you put on there, any stenciling that you happen to do, like Boom Boom with the little ghost, smoky ghost icon there. So it helps cut down immensely on the amount of time that it takes to build something. Good night, Bloops. Take care. Hope you have a good night. And then when you get done, you just hit N and you just uncheck the box for symmetry plane, and there you go. So that is a very powerful tool for anyone who is interested in building anything, whether it's a base, a hover vessel, small vessel, capital vessel, so on and so forth. Even our space station that we did, the immediate frame of it was so massive that we used a symmetry plane. And with the symmetry plane and 4 or 5 people just laying down concrete, even that still took a while. But our space station is ginormous. You'll probably see it sometime during the stream, especially since you followed. I hope you come back. Our space station, I think right now, is 6 or 7 layers. So it's a big cube, but the floors, it's 6 or 7 floors up. and it's about 6 blocks between floors. So it's about 42 height, maybe like 46, 47 of height, and the whole thing is 51 by 51 for the inner cube. And then we're designing parking lots or parking spots, or hangars, if you will, for everyone to be able to park a capital vessel there. So if you can imagine, it took us a lot of concrete blocks. The first time we went out there with our concrete blocks, I think we blew like 20,000 concrete blocks, and we were nowhere near done. And we went back out there with like 30,000 or 40,000 concrete blocks, and we pretty much finished the shell. So it took us like 60,000 armored concrete blocks to get the perimeter and the entire cube shape with the individual floors laid in. And, you know, if you think about placing each block by hand, symmetry mode definitely helps out a lot with that. So if, Tanya, to answer your question, if one player sets a symmetry, do other faction players share that symmetry? Like if one sees it, can others see it? No. Other people will not see it. Their block placement will not be overridden by your symmetry. So before we started, we were like, okay, this is the core block right here. Everyone stand here, hit N, do your symmetry plane, and click on the core block. So that was pretty much how we aligned everyone, and then we went forward and did the build. So we kind of calibrated first and then jumped into building, which was phenomenal. I'm really glad that we took a moment to do it that way. So just for grins, let's see. Yeah, community spirit. And it's great because most of the people that are on this server I've played Minecraft with for 3 years. So we already have a good idea of what everyone's strengths and weaknesses are. And, you know, like what everyone's good at, what they're not so good at. Like, I'm not the decoration guy by any means. I'm more your nerdy logic guy, which is why, you know, I get signal logic. I like messing with it. I can do some pretty cool stuff with signal logic. But if you ask me to decorate an area and put plants in the corner and beds and stuff like that, that's not me. I'll build, like, the coolest little shell of a box and make it functional. But if you want artistic stuff in there, you better call somebody else. So yeah, so let's just take a look here at just the size of this vessel compared to the base. So if you look, you know, there's Bloops's base that he imported, and here's my ship, and you can already see that my capital vessel is it pretty much dwarfs his base right here. And this capital vessel was also designed by Jay Randall. So the same guy who built that base and put it up on the blueprints also built this capital vessel. And if we put this thing next to it, just for grins here, and we kind of flatten it down on the ground as best as we can, you'll see that it's still a little taller than what he's got going on in his base. Even though his base has multiple floors, this capital vessel has 4 floors on it, and it's a little up in the air because you got ramps going up into it before you actually technically start your first floor, whereas the base there's a ground floor. So, you know, but it's still, looking at this angle, I still have more height than his base does. Capital vessels in this game are ridiculous. You can definitely do a lot. And you can just kind of think of it as like a big roaming base, which is pretty much how I think about it. Yeah, the NG, if we take a look here, and I know it won't be done until tomorrow sometime, but let's see, factory, it still has an hour and 48 minutes until I change over to the Cerberus NG, the next generation. So this is the upgraded version of the Cerberus, the ship I'm using now. And the build time, I put all these ingredients into the factory. This is another J. Randall build. You load in all these ingots, all these resources, and the initial total production time is 21 hours and 42 minutes. This is real world time. The workshop timer ticks down even if you're not connected or online. So at least there's that. So I started this up last night. It won't be done for another hour and 47 minutes. This is most likely going to happen after, you know, like, I don't know how much more later I'm going to be staying up, but 2 hours from now, probably not. Probably going to be, you know, curled up asleep with my blankets on my pillows, and I'm going to be slapped passed out. especially since I've been partaking of alcohol this evening. Duplicate Data, good to see you back. Appreciate you stopping by. I'm pretty sure you might have been lurking for a little while, but I don't call out my lurkers. Alright, so, yeah. Bases are crazy. And there's, a lot of improvements I've done to this build. Mostly signal logic things. You'll see as I walk around, lights turn on. I got this optimized really well. When I'm full up on power here, and that's not even the correct amount. Let me turn the constructors off. I can typically go for like 60 hours without having to stop by and do any fuel on here. I don't know. It's making a lighter out of me right now, but yeah, generally it's like 60 hours. What did I leave on? Did I leave engines on or something dumb? So, like I said, sometimes it helps if you're not online all the time. We got weapons on right now. Maybe that might have been it. Yeah, there we go. So now this capital vessel can go for 65 hours without running out of power from being at 100%. I really wish I could have solar on capital vessels just to help stretch that out a little longer. But, it is what it is. It's all power. And that's why I like the space station. So I think I pretty much did what I could here for Bloops. For those that are new to the stream, let me just take you to the space station so you can kind of get an idea of what that's about. Just because as far as builds go on this server, that is definitely one that is quite impressive with what we've managed to pull off. So let's just go take a trip into outer space. I'm sure Bloops will appreciate the signal logic that we did on his base. He's still got some ventilators to take out. So we'll just hop right in here into space, and I'll show you guys. We'll take the auto brake off so we can drift when we're in space. So here we go. This is a capital vessel slowly taking off and going into the orbit around the planet. It always amazes me seeing something this huge still be able to climb into the atmosphere and break into space. This never gets old. It's always really impressive when it happens, and then once you get into space, you don't have to apply your thrusters anymore. You can just coast on the inertia that you've had, since there's no friction or resistance. And let's just take a look here. We're currently on Mukund, and our space station is over here in Inda orbit. So we'll have to do 2 warp jumps. So we'll just jump over there real quick, and so we'll go ahead and warp. I did add these funky drills in the front just so I can get some asteroids that wasn't part of the initial build. So it's kind of funny seeing the dog-shaped capital vessel, but now he's got like these drills in front of his face like this. I think it's kind of funny. And let's do the warp to Inda. So we'll go ahead and lock on and go to Inda. So second warp jump. This game is great. I love the fact that you can just like change planets and go all around, and the fact that Peaches has been really gung-ho about Empyrion, and he added 30 planets the other day, so I don't even know if I can keep up with him at this point. Like, I keep going around and exploring my star map and unlocking new planets and places to warp to, but dude just keeps adding planets. Like, I don't even know if I can't keep up with him. Adding in 30 planets the other day. How am I supposed to keep up with that? Alright, so we're going to mosey on over to the space station. Looks like it's over this way. We'll double check our map. Yeah, so it's that way. And there's a space drone laser that's behind me, which doesn't look like it's coming after me at all. If it does, it's just going to get its face wrecked, because shame on it for trying to attack a capital vessel. I will just pew 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 until it dies. Oh, automatically too, for lulz. Because not like that's going to hurt me at all. Alright, so let's just, we'll make sure we're going this way. Turn the thrusters on. And we're pretty much on the same plane. We'll just kind of align a little bit. We won't actually see the space station until it gets within our first inner circle here. I kind of wish the view distance was a little further out, but that's not how it is. You have to actually, like, practically get on top of something with your inner ring before it'll pop up on your display. So we're almost to the space station. We'll be there in just a moment. So Zazion, are you looking at getting the game? Do you already have it? What's your story? I'd like everyone to tell me their story about Empyrion. I actually got really lucky, and it was on sale for the winter sale, and it was half off. So that's when I picked it up, which was just last month. It says I have like 800 hours on ED, which is a cool game, but without the farming ability. What's ED? Alright, there's our space station. It's coming into view, 1.26 miles out. And I do have my options set up to show me imperial measurements instead of the metric system. So I do like that option is in there, because I'd rather not have to convert measurements on the fly with my brain. Elite Dangerous. I have not played that. Alright, we are going to turn on our brakes, or else we're going to have a lot of fun trying to park without having the support of our brakes. So Peaches' capital ship, his new one, the... multiple people know what Elite Dangerous is. Apparently I'm not in the loop. Gotta get with the times. So Peaches has his capital ship parked in here. That's that blue one that you see right above mine as I try to park it in here. And this is essentially the space station that we've been working on and building over time. There's actually some pretty cool features inside. And one of the things that's really difficult for me to do right now is to get this bad boy parked. I'm probably going to see what I can do about finding alternate parking or redesigning the parking bay for myself, because it is really getting to be a little tedious, especially with extra blocks being added. So I need to get down here just a little bit so my radar can fit. So I think we're okay now for going back. But you can see it definitely is a tight fit for my ship. And then we'll just set it down here on the ground. So that is parking. Yeah, space station has a base starter block. You're exactly right. You can do space stations with either a base block, or if you want to be able to move it later, you can always put a capital vessel block in there instead. So that is an option. You can do either one for your space bases. For this, we want the base block so we can have solar panels. Because remember, you can't have solar panels on a CV. And the cool thing about bases in space, Tanya, is here, you'll see the sun's right there. That never moves. That's the greatest thing ever. So all these solar panels you see over here, all 15 of the suckers, so there's 2, 4, 6, 8, all 15, these guys always get full sun 24/7. So this is why I like to come back to the space station to do my smelting and my deconstructing, because it is full on 100% solar. In fact, so much solar that my battery right here is 100%. I can get in here and I can run the furnaces and my deconstructors and constructors. I can kill this. I can get this down to like 20%. But that's with an extreme amount of crafting. I have yet to bank this thing all the way down to 0. I haven't done it yet. We have so much solar power capacitors in here, it is ridiculous. In fact, if we look here at, I'm sure one of the statistics pages will tell me. Wow, really? Are you not going to tell me? Maybe it's on main. No, it's not. I could have swore it told me fuel base energy, fuel tanks. Okay, come on, solar battery. There it is. So the battery capacity in here right now is 51,200. You might not think that's a lot until we look at the devices tab and I type in the word solar. We have this many solar capacitors in this space station right now. So there's at least 23 in that one group, and there's all this that's at the top that's not even grouped. And then there's our solar panels. So Peaches, when he designed the engineering section of the space station, he went a little crazy, but I love him for it, because now we don't have to really worry about running out of solar power. This base is 100% fully efficient, and I'll show you where he put, this is his floor he designed too. This is the engineering floor. And when we talk about this giant cube that we put together, this is just one layer of the cube. And mind you, there's like 6 or 7 layers. This is the 5th floor. Actually, we have 6 floors. That's right. So if I walk up here, we'll turn my jetpack on so I can kind of speed through it a little bit. If I come up here, you'll see that we have power silos. And this is the section. You know, see, like signal logic too. You come in here, the shutters open. Let me show you that again. So watch those columns right there. We'll walk in and boom. There's the columns, the lights come on, the shutters lift up. All the blocks inside these columns are all capacitors. These are all capacitors that are just all inside of here. He stacked up a ton of capacitors all throughout this tower build inside here. And this is basically our solar bank array in this space station. And Peaches actually has this artistic flair with him. So he's not just functional, he's also artistic. Unfortunately, I lack in the artistic ability. I'll show you what I did with my floor so you kind of get an idea. But it took me a lot to do what I managed to do. So yeah, he's got all these solar banks in here. And you know, I love this piping. He's got like this catwalk through here. And we can just keep going around. And we're just going to do exactly that here. We'll just kind of skip forward we can. You got a generator here. You got another generator section over here. So if we happen to run out of solar, we can produce our power with the generators. I don't think I can fit through here. But that over there is a proper way to come in. Yeah, let me just let me come in the proper way so you can kind of see the generator bank a little better. And we'll just zoom over here momentarily. Whoops, too far. So right here, if I come in through where it says generator control, he's got signs, level 5 access only, all visitors must check in. Got himself a guardian. You know, this dude's standing guard. And then when you come in here to the generator bank bay, you know, he says, hey, this first section provides enough power for the base as of January 13th. If he were to get super crazy and add in a bunch of other crap, he says generator bank 2. It may be needed in the future. And if so, you flip the switch and all those generators come on. So here you can see the yellow side. Those generators are active. They're spinning. And then on the right-hand side, these blue ones, they're inert. They're not activated at all yet until someone comes in and actually flips the switch. So that's all the capacitor bay, the generators that are in there. And he's got the fuel and oxygen storage over here. So if we were to go off of solar power, do we have enough fuel capacity to actually keep the base going? And the answer is, if we look here on the main tab, we have 208 hours of power left. If, you know, we're not running all the construction stuff, but 208 hours. That is ridiculous. And just to double check, 208 hours, if you divide it by 24, is 8.66 days. So this space station, assuming there was no solar energy coming in, could last on fuel based on our fuel tanks for over a week. And that's exactly the kind of thing you need, because I know I absolutely hate it when a base runs out of power, especially in outer space, because the moment that happens, all your plants die. So if we zoom up here, I did floor 4. We'll come to this in just a moment. Momo has been working on floor 2? Is it 2? Let's double check. Yeah, Momo has been working on floor 2. And I asked her to put together a greenhouse so we could have the space station be self-sufficient for food. And I went in here and put in some crops. So you'll see that we have, you know, a lot of plant fibers. We have a lot of room to grow in here. Literally, top and bottom floors. These don't even have crop plots yet. Let me turn my lamp on so you can see a little bit better. So those are all empty. We still have, you know, we have a couple buds in here that are all planted. These don't even have grow lights over them, so those sprouts aren't growing. But, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Oh, it's your bedtime, Duplicate. Hope you have a good night. Sweet dreams, man. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be back on streaming tomorrow. see what fun we can get into with everyone on. We're actually gonna at 4 p.m. I'll start my stream early, so 4 p.m. Central. We're going to hop on and go try to finish up the quest. This particular one right here in the PDA, we're going to do a team mission, defeat the alien POIs. We have to do 4 different types of bases. So we're going to have to scout around and find all 4, and then we're going to speed run all 4. So 4 p.m. Central if you're interested in tuning in for us wrecking face and going through and taking out alien bases. I think it's going to be a blast. I'm going to start my stream early for it. It'll be good fun. Now, that was floor 2. That's what Momo's been working on. And I say I'm not really artistic, but I did try really hard. It took me a day to do my floor. Like straight up, legit, like the whole damn day. I put together this, I had like the fabrication floor. That was my theme. All the stuff that produces things. So, this is the production plant. There's 9 constructors inside here. I did the signal logic that tells you anything in here that's running, you can access and see if it's running from inside right when you come off the elevator. So my production area here running the constructors, I've got LCD panels. Right now you can see 1 through 3 is active, but 4 through 6 and 7 through 9 are offline right now. And then there's a little introduction as to what does what in here. 1 through 3 makes fusion cells. 4 through 6 are batch jobs that people might be doing. 7 through 9 are your quick jobs. Someone just runs in, they just need like a couple things. You use constructor 7 through 9. And then where they're all located. So when you come in here, I went with a checkered floor design. And mostly a pretty standard wall. I kind of went like this, I don't know, oval and circle thing. And then mix it up with like a red board design. And then the red ceiling, and then you have 1 through 3 over here. These run a lever that controls these 3. Right now, these are all producing fusion cells, which looks like they ran out. Looks like we ran out of water. No big deal. So we'll just move some water out of my ship into here, and we'll get these going again. You know, people always wonder like how I have so many fusion cells in my ship. This is why. It's because I literally try to keep the space station topped off with promethium ore and iron ingots, as well as water containers. I have to actually go down to the surface on a few different planets and harvest all the water containers. But this way, you know, when I need fusion cells or anyone else needs fusion cells, look at all this. I have almost 5. I definitely have 4 stacks, maybe like 4 1/4 stacks of fusion cells just ready to go in here. And, you know, it's a little nuts. And we'll just, we've already got some intermediate, we already have promethium pellets on standby, so we can, you know, sit there and take some of that. So I'll just grab some of these and put them in my ship, probably like 2 stacks. And then the rest I'll just keep in here for the space station. You know, if anyone else happens to want any fuel, once they go down through all the many containers, here we go, fuel and warp crystals. So we'll just move over all this and add it in here in case anyone, you know, needs power for their small vessel or whatever they're flying. You know, they have an enormous amount of power here ready to go. So that's the fabrication floor for this section. And then I have I added ingots, the ingot vault. So if someone actually wanted to walk to and fro, I have all the ingots available. There's 8 different types of ingots in this game. So you see neodymium, promethium, sathium, silicon, zascosium. There's actually pentaxid that you can mine. I've got 5 cargo boxes for each type. So there's actually like, I don't know how many this is, 4, 8, 11 different types of things that we're tracking, and there's 5 storage boxes each. And they all match the color of the ore. Yeah, so I did that. So I think the only thing that we're super full up on right now is the lava planet, where I have like 30 auto miners, is Iristrom. I actually have 4 cargo boxes full of Iristrom. And, you know, that's a feat in and of itself. But we don't have, you know, a metric ton of other things like magnesium. You know, we don't even have a box. We're lucky we don't have 2 rows. You know, so there's still some improvements to be made. We're really sucking on neodymium. So trying to keep all that out. Oh, thank you. Clear layout, easy to read info. That's what I was going for. You know, I don't want anyone to be confused. I want anyone that comes to this area to know what's up. And you can access the F4 menu if you need any ingots too, because space station, you know, all this stuff is in here. So if you're looking for ingots, here's all your ingots. Ingot 1, iron, aerostrum, copper is the first box. Your second box set, third box set. And the game kind of glitched out or did something a little odd. I have a couple of that didn't really grouped in with others, but it's all there. So there's your ingot vault. And then the recycling yard is where I put the deconstructors. So you put your stuff in this box that's going to get recycled. And you turn on your deconstructors. You can use the P menu or flip this lever that's right there. And it'll go ahead and start recycling everything. And when it does, because you can put a whole cargo box full in, I decided to make it so I didn't want the deconstructors to stop because the box got full. It outputs into 2 different boxes. And at first I had 4 deconstructors, but last night I actually upgraded the the space station to have 10 deconstructors. So now when you're deconstructing, you flip the switch and you're not waiting around a very long time at all to have all your stuff get deconstructed. I wanted to have like this huge burst of power requirement, but not for very long. And then this is the Foundry control room and observation deck. I found some ASCII art online of this little dog, and so I put it on there. You know, trying to be you know, a little bit more artistic and not, you know, just plain Jane. You know, like, oh, let me just write a text thing on here and call it a day. But this is the furnace control room up here, and it's just purely decorative. You don't really need to come up here for anything, but you'll see I have a motion sensor. It's turning the lights on here. And there's like a locker and control consoles. But it gives you a nice like high up view of Mount Doom. And for those that are Lord of the Ring fans, Mount Doom is where Frodo had to throw the ring in. So I figured that the power of 10 furnaces had to be kind of like Mount Doom. So that was the theme I went with for my Mount Doom area with my 10 furnaces, because it's just kind of cool. And I actually have some LCD panels if anyone makes it back there. There's some little Easter eggs. You know, I'll show you guys since you're on the stream right now. I don't think that Bloops or Momo or anybody else is actually hanging out right now. So, little Easter egg I'll show you guys. And then this is the foundry. So, you walk in here, you have all your ores to smelt. What do? No problem. All your ores go in. So, I got in written on the floor. You got the arrow. So, it tells you, you know, flip this lever, or you can use the P menu. And then dump ores here. Don't put in things that don't smelt. Okay, so things go in here. You see there's some leftovers. You have to be in groups of 5 to smelt. And then it gets output. There's 10 furnaces. They output into 5 boxes. So again, we don't want to have the overflow stop it. So you just access these 5 boxes. You get your ingots out, and you're good to go. Now this is how you get out and about. This goes into like the back behind the scenes area. So you see I've got a Dragon Ball Z reference. Furnace maintenance area security level 9,000, so you better have over 9,000. So I got like little things peppered through here, but I'll show you guys real quick. You know, up here, I thought this was pretty funny. I found more ASCII art. And so this is supposed to be Golem. I know it's kind of hard to tell that that's actually Golem. But if you get the Mount Doom thing, you should already be thinking Lord of the Rings. And if that doesn't understand, like looking at the picture, you know, you've got the text here that says, "Precious. What has the nasty Bagginsons got in his pockets?" So, you know, that's totally Golem when you read it like that. You're like, oh, hey, what's going on here? So I thought that was kind of cool. So it's up on the LCD panel behind the furnaces. I don't even know if the other guys have really noticed this yet. No one said anything to me, but, you know, I'm kind of waiting. You know, they might not have been in the exploration mood with that. And then off to the side here, the other panel, I tried to find a good example of a hobbit, but I didn't really find one. And this is probably like the best I could get to translate over onto the LCD panel. So that's supposed to be a hobbit. You can kind of see it, but it's not the greatest transition. Oh no, Damien, you died for the first time. 18 kills to 1 death. You're doing pretty good. And you're already level 6. Good job. And the lights on here, you know, of course, they're all motion sensors. And we're still inside the maintenance area. So I didn't really worry about the excess space I had in here. I just kind of hid stuff that people didn't really need to go to. So these are the 10 deconstructors. I should probably write, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the blocks. But for right now, I didn't even bother with it. You can tell the 4 that were the original ones because they're actually colored nice and pretty, and they have the labeling. But the 6 through 10, not so much. That's the back of the ingots box. And yeah. So the rest is just kind of like excess space on my floor because, again, this is a really large area. It's 51 by 51. And let's just run back and through because there really isn't anything else to show with the maintenance area. So we'll just come back through here. And the last area on here actually is pretty interesting because, I'm sitting here working on this and I'm streaming my working on this floor. And so I'm like, oh, I'm going to make a kitchen and a cafe. That was on my list of things to make, kitchen and cafe. But you'll notice the sign here says what? Kitchen and casino. So we come in here, here's our kitchen. We've got like this massive greenhouse that's going to be put in upstairs. And so, people need to eat their food, so there's your main food refrigerator. We've got our food processors, again, all on signal logic. If you're cooking in the kitchen, you flip the switch. And this is the kitchen. Nice tile everywhere. And then I started working on the cafe. You'll see this says casino. Well, I started working on the floor in here, and someone was like, that's more like a casino than a cafe. And I was like, oh, really? So I think it was Damien that was talking about this, that it looks more like a casino. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to roll with it, and I'm going to turn this into a casino instead of cafe. So that's what I did. So I kept up with my floor. The walls were horribly, they were horrendous before, but I toned it down. So now it's just like this stellar white wall, gray ceilings. You kind of have I went and got aliens to put in here, so I got an alien receptionist guy right here. And I put in these decorations. You got kind of like these little waiting benches when you come in. Maybe all the tables are full. And I put an ATM in here because you always need to get your money at a casino. There's some drink specials. And Damien, again, was the one who like Alabama Slammer, 75. And I put in here some custom drinks for everybody. Ekzim's Fireball shots I did earlier on my stream, drinking Fireball. So I just absolutely laughed at the fact that I gave Admiral Peaches martinis. So I'm kind of like giggling to myself every time I see the sign and I see Admiral Peaches' martini. But I put in tables for decorations. These are supposed to be crap tables right here. But the alien guy that comes, he comes with this table. Like this is one decoration, it's one block. He comes with this table, and this table looks nothing like Crap's table. But I didn't know that when I placed it. And unfortunately, if I pick him back up and I go to place it again, he won't be an alien anymore. He'll be human. So I'm just leaving him in here as an alien in here for the casino. And casinos always have cameras. So you'll notice at each corner of the casino, there's the black dome-shaped cameras that are blacked out. You can't tell where the cameras are looking. And I put a security booth back here. It says security, and there's the consoles back here, little computers where someone can watch on the monitors what's happening in the casino. So that's the casino build. And then there was jokes about, if you cheat, you get ejected in the space lock, out of the airlock. So you'll notice here that we have a sign that says casino reception head to the left, please wait to be seated. What games are here? Blackjack, craps, and poker. And notes, full bar and drink specials. There's always a happy hour. ATMs are available. Full video surveillance. No weapons allowed. And cheaters will be ejected into space. So that is the casino. I thought it was pretty neat. It came out to be a pretty awesome building here. And I definitely like having a casino in here instead of a boring cafe. So that's how that worked out. So yeah, definitely I love having people watch me play video games because I can take that feedback or those jokes and I can run with it and I can turn it into something awesome. So yeah, it's really cool. I love having people participate with my stream because we're all in this together. So yeah, that's my floor. That's pretty much the 4th floor, and that's what I did with my one day. So after I got done building this, I was like, I'm not building for a while. I took a break. I went and killed aliens. It was good fun. It was good times. So yeah. What do you think? Do you think I did a pretty good job for someone who draws stick figures and doesn't really get into the artistic side? I think I did pretty good. I got everything you could need to do with fabrication on my floor. And I even threw in a casino for extra, extra, pow. Pizzazz. That's the word I'm looking for. Pizzazz!